Lieber Charles, herzlich willkommen. Schön, dass du mal wieder in Berlin bist. Wir sehen uns hier ja relativ oft und nicht nur in Brüssel oder Straßburg, sondern eben auch an diesem Ort. Unsere Begegnung findet in bewegten Zeiten statt. Die Zeitenwende, die der russische Überfall auf die Ukraine markiert, hat massive Auswirkungen auf uns alle. Deutschland, Europa, die Europäische Union unterstützen die Ukraine bei der Verteidigung ihres Landes nach Kräften, politisch, finanziell, humanitär, auch militärisch. Das wissen Sie alles. Die EU wird in den kommenden Wochen weitere 5 Milliarden Euro an Unterstützung als Makrofinanzhilfe an die Ukraine bereitstellen. Das ist ein guter Fortschritt und wir haben sehr dafür geworben. Deutschland ist vorangegangen und hat 1 Milliarde Euro an direktem Zuschuss an die Ukraine gegeben. Und wir hoffen natürlich, dass auch noch andere Mitglieder diesem Beispiel folgen, neben den 5 Milliarden wohlgemerkt. Die Auswirkungen des russischen Angriffskrieges spüren wir aber auch bei uns. Der russische Präsident hat die Gaslieferungen in den Westen nahezu gestoppt. Er will damit offensichtlich die europäischen Demokratien schwächen oder destabilisieren. Aber das wird ihm nicht gelingen. Er hat sich verrechnet. Denn wir Europäerinnen und Europäer stehen eng und solidarisch zusammen. Die hohen Energiepreise sind ein Problem für unsere Länder und natürlich für die Bürgerinnen und Bürger und für die Unternehmen. Deshalb bin ich der Europäischen Kommission dankbar für ihre Überlegungen, wie wir die Belastung durch die Strompreise in Europa senken können. Die Vorschläge, die die Kommission entwickelt und vorgetragen hat, sind ziemlich ähnlich zu denen, die wir in Deutschland diskutiert haben im Zusammenhang mit unserem eigenen Entlastungspaket. Wir würden gerne erreichen, dass es eine Erlösobergrenze gibt für die Produktion von Strom mit Windkraft, Solarenergie, mit Wasserkraft, mit Kohle, mit Atomenergie. Und wir wollen diese Erlöse, die darüber hinausgehen,
these proposals. We want a sovereign Europe that is stronger, more stable and more secure, and a Europe that has weight in the world. This is what it's about, and we commit ourselves to this goal. Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to thank you for your reception here and the cooperation in order to prepare the major topics that are at hand, that are waiting for us, that are at the table of the European Council in the coming months ahead. Let me reaffirm our commitment for Ukraine. We're going to continue to support Ukraine in all areas, be it militarily, in form of humanitarian assistance, political aid, and also financial assistance. You just mentioned it. We're making progress. We're implementing the commitments made for the summer as far as the macro-financial assistance is concerned. And the second aspect is the implementation of sanctions. We want to exert pressure on the Kremlin, and we want to make it clear that the European Union stands in unity against this flagrant war of aggression and this violation of international law, this injustifiable attack on Ukraine. All of this has direct repercussions in questions pertaining to energy, but also questions pertaining to social affairs, the economy. We've had time to address this. We talked about the possible levers we have on the European level, but also on the international level in order to try to tackle these challenges posed by this pressure. We talked about 3 areas. First of all, it's about reducing energy consumptions. Proposals have been made by the Commission, and the states individually are taking measures and initiatives. Second, we act to the best of our abilities to make sure that supply is assured with the energy resources that are necessary for the citizens, for the families and the companies and the businesses. And third, we also want to contain prices. It is a complex topic. As I speak, energy ministers are meeting in Brussels in order to discuss the proposals put forward by the Commission and the member states on various topics. And then, of course, we need to talk about the Europe of the future. I welcomed and commended the speech delivered by the Chancellor in Prague. the speech that actually talks about the enlargement process, what this process could look like. Steps have been taken, and the Federal Chancellor also talked about it, modernizing our decision-making structures so that Europe is sovereign and capable to act. We see more than ever before that Europe needs unity, solidarity, sovereignty. Europe, however, also needs to speak with one voice in the world. This has already been said. We need to take measures and steps after the discussions we've had at the European Council before the summer. We're going to have a first meeting of the political community at the margins of the European Council meeting in Prague. It will be the opportunity for the heads of state to exchange views with other nations in Europe and have a dialogue. It's a political platform that should enable dialogue and exchange, foster mutual understanding, in a platform that should meet once or twice a year on the level of heads and state and government. Thank you very much. We're now going to hear questions. A question to you both, Federal Chancellor and Mr. Michel. How big is your concern that should there be a European gas cap, that Putin is going to make good on his threat to stop delivering gas to Europe entirely? First of all, we discussed the proposals at hand, and we're going to discuss the questions put forward by the Commission on the power market. As far as the gas market is concerned, there are many different proposals on the table. It would be early to say we're going to do this or that, but it is clear for Germany that we are going to take the situation of the member states into account. Together with many others, we committed ourselves that we didn't have sanctions on gas in the spring. There are no sanctions on gas in Europe or the G7. However, there is the fact that Russia doesn't live up to its commitments as far as the delivery is concerned and has reduced gas supplies through the pipelines. That's the case right now. And of course, we're going to listen carefully to what the member states say, which import gas and depend on gas supplies. Germany used the time well. We started immediately to build terminals and at the German shores. We talked to our friends in the Netherlands and Belgium how we can increase the imports of LNG gas. We are receiving, we talked to the Netherlands and Norway about the import of gas. We stored gas and we are using power plants, increase the use of power plants to move away from using gas. It is not possible in other member states to the extent as it is here in Germany, and we're going to take into account of the situation of our member states. But I don't want to speculate. Solidarity means that we understand the situation, special situation of every member state. Since the beginning of this war that was triggered and started by Russia, the European Union tried to react time and again by defending and upholding the international law and defending the interests and values of the Europeans. We acted in unity and in the spirit of solidarity in order to deal with the repercussions this war triggered by Vladimir Putin has started. We're going to closely cooperate in order to reduce our dependency on Russian fossil fuels. We've been doing so for many months. There is a race against time here. We need to diversify our energy sources and our supply sources because we see that Russia is not a reliable actor. We need to remain calm. We must not let ourselves intimidated by the threats that are voiced and the statements that are made to intimidate by the Kremlin. Thank you very much. Hans von der Burchardt von Politico. Mr. Michel, are you content with the proposals that Commission President made, or do you expect further proposals for the State of the Union, also when it comes to a price cap on gas imports from around the globe, as your Belgian colleague, Mr. De Croo, demanded? And Mr. Chancellor, what do you think about a price cap for gas imports around the globe, or would you prefer a bias cartel in order to reduce the gas prices on the I believe this energy crisis, which was triggered by the war in Ukraine, is a sprint. We need to act as fast as possible, but it is also a marathon at the same time, because we know that these energy questions are going to be around for quite some time. I think it's good that the Commission produced a non-paper in order to have a framework which forms the basis for discussions, and I'm firmly convinced that we will need further meetings, further discussions in order to make progress when it comes to the 3 points I talked about: reducing consumption, making sure that we have a reliable energy supply, and that we contain prices in order to provide relief for the citizens and the companies and the families in Europe. We should not take the last step ahead of the first one. We have not come this far. We're talking about yardsticks here, benchmarks. We have a high-ranking expert commissions that is going to be introduced in Germany. We need to prepare this, and this holds true for the discussions underway in Europe. We have friends in Norway who are going to send us gas. We have friends in the United States who will deliver gas. I know we have many friends around the globe who will send gas and supply gas. And these are countries outside of the European Union. I believe this aspect needs to be factored in as well when tabling proposals. We need to do that. The solutions may not be as obvious. We need hard work. The most important thing is that we do the utmost to reduce prices. We have opportunities. We have options. We filled the storage facilities when we had time, but of course we're going to empty these storage facilities in the winter now, and we're of course are willing to make a contribution that the markets are going to relax. We have used the summertime in Germany well in order to prepare for this situation, not just in Germany, but also other countries as well. It's the message for the markets. The prices are much higher than are justified right now. Thank you very much. One question to the Chancellor. Did you also discuss the question of energy mix and energy supplies, especially in the context of France? And did you talk to France? Do you see a solution as this how can be handled so that France and Germany, when it comes to gas and nuclear energy? And one question to Mr. Michel. The Chancellor made a proposal, a reform proposal when it comes to the following aspect. I'm talking about majority decisions here. It is important to make progress here. Also, when it comes to sanctions, do you see an opportunity or an option to make progress here? We didn't talk in depth about the talks between myself and Emmanuel Macron. The results are public, and it's clear. Everyone knows that. We all agree. The situation is a bit more relaxed, if you will. Indeed, in the past weeks in Germany and other countries, opportunities were used to produce electricity by way of gas and other sources to send this power to France and to Switzerland. This has helped, and this is part of our solidarity with our neighbors. And when looking, this is, of course, part and parcel of our solidarity with France. It is a good step that also with regard to the talks that we had to Western European ports, and we also included France. France is also going to make its pipelines available to transport LNG to Germany, and this is going to be the case. We are going to be able to import gas via France. We're going to create opportunities for long-term investment that it can be that gas can be imported to Germany, and vice versa. It is clear we all hope for France, but also for the European energy electricity market as a whole, that nuclear power plants in France go back to the grid. And this is what I envisage and understand when it comes to active solidarity, and it works quite well. Thank you very much. We did discuss the future of Europe, and we got inspired by what the Chancellor said in Prague. We share the conviction that we need to make Europe more sovereign, more solid, more robust and resilient. We talked about energy, and we also need sovereignty in questions pertaining to energy. We could have also talked about defense and security. We need to make progress here as well. It's important for the future of Europe. Innovation, technological innovations are the third pillar. We need to prepare the future of this European project. And of course, the question arises with regard to the functioning of decision-making processes on the European level. And Federal Chancellor talked about this. There is this idea that if we want to, once we make progress with enlargement, we want to enlarge. I think it has become obvious in the past weeks. We must make sure that our decision-making procedures are adapted to Europe for the future, as it will exist tomorrow in the future. And we are going to have to take the right decisions that actually reflect this spirit of unity, that guarantee the spirit of unity, so the European Union has clout and weight, but it must not have consequences for veto, the right to veto be expressed in foreign policy, for instance, and mean that Europe becomes weakened or not is able to react as quickly as possible. Federal Chancellor, how optimistic are you that after this meeting of energy ministers will result in a reduction of electricity prices for citizens in Germany? I'm optimistic. The fact that similar issues are being discussed in Brussels as what has been discussed here in Germany actually makes me confident and optimistic. We're working on this in Germany, and of course we hope that this can be also be embedded in a European framework. We are acting quickly. Thank you very much.